Exposed, humble heroine's amazing choice saves a billionaire's son's life-changing secret. The sirens wailed like banshees in the usually peaceful suburban neighborhood of Ohio. Jenna stood in her kitchen, a pot of spaghetti simmering on the stove. Lucas, her 5-year-old, was tugging at her apron, while Mia, her 8-year-old, practiced flips in the living room. "Mom! Can I have a pizza party for my birthday?" she shouted, her eyes sparkling with excitement. But the sounds outside pulled Jenna from her daydream. She glanced out the window, her heart thumping. The Johnsons' yard was a swirl of activity, paramedics rushing to the laid-out body on the ground. Ethan, a boy she had only ever seen gliding effortlessly down the street on his skateboard, lay there, motionless. Nobody could wrap their minds around it. Nobody knew how serious it was until they saw the worried expressions on his parents' faces. Jenna's mind raced. Ethan was the son of the billionaire executives who lived next door. The complications of wealth and privilege suddenly felt heavy. She often watched them from her porch, sipping coffee while they hosted extravagant parties. Tonight, though, the cheerful sounds of laughter were replaced by desperate cries for help. She turned back to her kids, clenching the wooden spoon in her hand. "Stay here, okay?" Jenna urged, a mother's instinct kicking in. She rushed outside, weaving through the scattered neighbors, drawn to the heartbreaking scene. As the weeks passed and a miracle brought Ethan back from the brink, Jenna found herself drawn into the family's chaos. Ethan's charming smile, once carefree, transformed into something more vulnerable as he echoed his struggles over their tender talks. "They just don't get it, Jenna. Every day is like living in a box. No one understands what it's like to just want to chase dreams." Jenna felt that tightness in her chest again, the same ache she felt after an exhausting day of waitressing, freelancing, and cleaning. Their lives weren't so different after all. They both fought for what they believed in fiercely. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But beneath their budding friendship lay dark clouds. Whispers floated through the neighborhood, murmurings of the Johnson family's questionable business practices crept into the light like shadows in the night. Jenna's heart battled against the ethics of silence. Exposing the truth about Ethan's family could wreck their fragile bond. Yet, remaining silent meant accepting the pain inflicted upon her neighbors as they lost jobs, livelihoods, and hope. As the tension thickened, weeks of late-night conversations turned into a heavy burden. Jenna stood at the fork in her life. One path led to loyalty and friendship, the other to justice for those who relied on her. For days, Jenna wrestled with her thoughts, every decision weighing down like bricks on her heart. Now, she faced a fight where every choice would redefine her identity and the delicate fabric of her community. Could she stand for truth without shattering the fragile connection that bloomed between her and Ethan? As that question echoed in her mind, she took a deep breath, knowing that the moment had arrived. The stakes were high, and Jenna knew the upcoming decision would change everything. Would she find a way to bridge the gap between their two worlds or risk losing it all in pursuit of what was right? The air felt thick around Jenna as she stared at the ground, lost in thought. It was the kind of quiet that echoed the chaos brewing inside her mind. She could hear the faint sounds of her children laughing inside, blissfully unaware of the world spinning wildly outside their home. For a moment, she wished she could trade places with them, if only to escape the turmoil of her decision. Ethan was sitting on her porch steps, swinging his legs back and forth like a child, but the look in his eyes was far from carefree. He seemed so different now, more contemplative, as if the weight of the world pressed down upon him. "Jenna," he said softly, his voice carrying an unusual seriousness, "do you think people can change?" The innocent question struck at the core of her dilemma. I want to believe they can. But change is complicated, she replied, her heart racing. Ethan nodded, contemplating her words. My life is complicated. I wish my family could just be normal. Doubt creased his brow, and Jenna felt an urge to comfort him. She wanted to reach over and ease some of his burdens, but the truth of the matter weighed heavily on her tongue. The whispers she had heard at the supermarket and in church gatherings festered in her mind. Business deals that had fallen through. Families that had been uprooted. Those shadows of darkness loomed larger than ever, and now they threatened to envelop her as well. But could she really confront Ethan with that truth? As days passed, Jenna worked tirelessly, juggling her responsibilities and attempting to shield her children from the brewing storm. However, with each interaction, the distance between her and Ethan seemed to narrow, yet the chasm of their two worlds yawned wider than she'd like to admit. At evening barbecues, she'd catch glimpses of the fun, the camaraderie, and the ease of a life she and her kids could only dream of. Yet every laugh shared held a crack of guilt, a reminder that her friendship was built upon lies woven into the fabric of their lives. And with those moments came the constant replay of the words her friend, Lila, had shared during their last coffee meeting: you can't lose. You're either siding with truth or silence. Pick a side, Jenna. The unyielding pressure to make a choice clawed at her, and she felt its grip tighten around her throat. What if I tell him? She spoke aloud one evening, her voice breaking through the silence of the kitchen. Lucas and Mia glanced up at her, confusion etched on their faces. What if he is angry? What if he feels betrayed? The questions ricocheted off the walls of her mind, each one blurring the reality of what could happen next. A knot formed in her stomach as she thought of Ethan's heartfelt trust. What if revealing the truth shattered their fragile bond? She could lose more than just a friend, she could lose the connection that had begun to form within her own heart as well. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting amber hues through the window, Jenna felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. There was no retreat, no avoiding this. She had to confront Ethan, share her dread and her truth. He deserved that much. With her heart thrumming like a bird in a cage, she steeled herself, knowing that the moment of revelation was upon her like a tidal wave crashing on the shore. Everything she had avoided was now confronting her. The door creaked open, and Jenna took a deep breath as she stepped outside. Ethan. She called softly, and the sincerity in her voice made her doubt if she was truly ready for what would come next. But the unease lingering in the pit of her stomach would soon reveal that sometimes the truth could be a double-edged sword, and it was about to cut both ways. Would she brave the storm or allow herself to be swept away? Jenna's heart hammered as she stepped off the porch, the evening sky swirling with colors she barely noticed. Ethan looked up, surprise etched across his features, a mixture of hope and apprehension in his eyes. What's up? She swallowed hard, fighting the lump forming in her throat. Can we talk? Her voice trembled, betraying the calm she desperately wanted to project. Sure. What is going on? He shifted, swinging his legs to the side, the casual manner he wore now feeling like a mask cracking at the seams. Jenna took a deep breath, grounding herself in the moment. I've been thinking about everything. About us. Our lives. She hesitated, feeling the weight of her words. She glanced at their kids playing inside, laughter ringing so sweetly, so innocent. I don't want to keep secrets from you anymore. Ethan's expression shifted, concern washing over him. Secrets? What do you mean? I'm not sure how to say this. Anxiety gnawed at her, pulling her deeper into an emotional whirlpool. There are things you don't know about my life. About my family. He leaned closer, his intense gaze never wavering. The shadows danced around them, but all she could focus on was the steady beat of her heart beneath her chest. Jenna, what are you talking about? In that moment, she knew she had to push through the fear. Our town is changing, Ethan. There are rumors. Serious ones, about businesses, about families falling apart. She stopped, gathering courage. This was the precipice. She was about to reveal the truth that might destroy the bond they had been building. Your dad, he's involved in some of these backdoor dealings. I heard things, and I don't want to keep it from you anymore. Each word was like a stone hitting the water, rippling through the air between them. Ethan's eyes widened, disbelief mingling with anger. What do you mean? What have you heard? The crack in his voice hinted at the vulnerability beneath his composed demeanor. They say he's involved in shady deals. People are losing their livelihoods, Ethan. I don't want you to be hurt by this. I never wanted to put you in this position, but I also can't turn a blind eye. The silence between them thickened, and Jenna studied his face as emotions warred within him. Sadness, betrayal, anger flashed across his features, making her own heart ache for what this might do to him. You've got to believe me, she said softly. I'm telling you this because I care about you. And I don't want your family to suffer. For a moment, Ethan seemed lost in a tempest of emotions. Why didn't you tell me sooner? This changes everything. His voice was a whisper, tension lacing through it. It does. But I've been scared of losing our friendship, of hurting you. Tears stung her eyes, but she forced herself to stay strong. I didn't know how to say it. I need to think, he said, his voice heavy with defeat. A deep line formed between his brows, and Jenna felt that intimate connection they had built begin to crack under the weight of her revelation. Ethan, she reached for his hand instinctively, but he pulled back, as if the distance had grown insurmountable. If what you say is true, you should come to me earlier, he replied, his voice a mix of hurt and disappointment. The words cut through her with a sharp clarity. I know, I'm so sorry. I just thought what? That keeping it to yourself would protect me? He turned away, the fight in his eyes dimming. I can't just stand by while my family is dragged through the mud. I need to know what's true. The air felt colder, emptier as the weight of his words settled in. Please, Ethan, she implored, desperate to reconcile the growing rift between them. Let us work through this together. He looked at her then, vulnerability creeping back into his expression. Together? A flicker of hope emerged, but doubt lingered like a shadow. But Jenna could see it, the space for healing, for the truth to either tear them apart or bring them closer. I hope we can, she said, her heart aching. Because I don't want to lose you. But as their eyes locked, the tension still hung thick in the air, leaving Jenna with the terrifying uncertainty of how this would unfold. Would truth unite them or drive them apart for good? The laughter of her children echoed from the house, a stark contrast to the turmoil just outside the door. Jenna held her breath, waiting for Ethan's answer, knowing everything was about to change. Ethan took a step back, his shoulders tense. Even in the dim light, Jenna could see the internal struggle weighing heavily on him. I need time to wrap my head around this, Jenna. It's bigger than us. Her heart dropped. Time. A luxury they didn't have. I understand, she replied, forcing a calmness she didn't really feel. But what if you need to act fast? What if what I've heard is true? With each word, the urgency flowed out like a river, flooding her chest with fear. He ran a hand through his hair, visibly frustrated. You're asking me to wrap my mind around a scandal, a potential betrayal from my own father. If this is real, there are going to be consequences. Serious ones. I know. But we can't ignore it. We can't just pretend everything is okay. Jenna's voice grew more desperate. We owe it to ourselves, to our families, to find out the truth. If there's even a chance, I don't want your family to suffer because we stayed silent. You think this isn't going to affect our kids? Our lives? Ethan shot back, hurt flashing in his eyes. The rumors, what they could mean, I don't know if I can handle that yet. Jenna felt tears poke at the corners of her eyes again. I don't want to hurt you, Ethan. But the longer we wait, the worse it might get. If your dad is involved in something illegal. She let that sentence hang between them, unable to finish it. His expression softened momentarily, but the doubt was still there. I have to confront him, but what if he denies everything? What if he throws me out? The vulnerable undertone crept back into his voice. What if he turns his back on me? Then we fight together. If you need me to be right there with you, I will. She stepped forward, closing the distance she sensed growing stronger by the second. But you need to trust me. Trust that I'm only looking out for your family, the family we're building together. Ethan's eyes searched hers, filled with a mixture of pain and the faintest glimmer of hope. I don't want to lose you either, he murmured, his breath shaky. But your truth, it changes everything. I'm not telling you this because I want to hurt you, Ethan. I'm telling you this because I care. Because we have something real here. Something worth saving. Her voice wavered, but conviction shone through the cracks. But he stood there, pinned between fear and the flicker of trust she hoped to instill. Just then, the kids' laughter rang out again, shattering the tension, reminding them of what was at stake. We need to talk to them, don't we? Ethan said suddenly, his voice heavy. About everything. Yes. We do. The rush of relief mixed with dread knotted in her stomach. Whatever happened next would change the course of their lives together or apart. The atmosphere outside seemed to shift, mirroring the uncertainty swirling within their own hearts. She could sense the winds of change brewing, but she had to believe it was for the better. Okay, she finally said, almost inaudibly. Let us start by getting our kids settled, and then we'll take it from there. As they turned back toward the house, a quiet determination settled between them. They would face this together. But as she opened the door, a cold gust swept past, stealing her breath. It felt too much like a warning. What were they about to uncover in the discussions that lay ahead? Would the truth strengthen them or unravel everything? Jenna took a deep breath as they walked inside, steeling herself for the storm of emotions waiting on the other side. What revelations awaited them soon? The moment Jenna stepped inside, the warmth of the house enveloped her, yet it couldn't chase away the feeling that something heavy hung in the air. Ethan followed closely, his eyes scanning the living room where the kids were sprawled across the floor, lost in their game. Their laughter felt like a distant oasis in the desert of uncertainty looming over Jenna and Ethan. Hey kids, can you help us out for a second? Jenna called, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside her. The children's heads popped up, confusion painted across their faces but quickly transformed into excitement at the prospect of being needed. Yeah. What do you need? Their son, Lucas, exclaimed, excitement in his voice. Jenna exchanged a glance with Ethan. He wore the same hesitant expression, the weight of the moment settling on his shoulders. We want to talk to you about something important, he said, kneeling down, his eyes earnest. The kids scooted over, their faces expecting an adventure, unaware that their parents were about to divulge life-changing news, shadowed by fears that felt insurmountable. Jenna felt her throat tighten as 5 pairs of eyes trained on them. She swallowed hard, searching for the right words. Your grandparents, they've been involved in some things, and we're trying to figure them out. We want you to hear it from us first, Jenna began, her heart racing in rhythmic beats of anxiety. Things like what? Whispered Lily, their youngest, confusion turning into concern. It's complicated, Ethan interjected softly. But what's most important is that you know we love you and will protect you no matter what. Are we in trouble? Lucas asked, shadowing his eyes with worry, and it broke Jenna's heart into tiny pieces. No, sweetie, Jenna knelt closer, brushing back his hair. This is about making sure we all stay safe and strong together as a family. As the words hung in the air, a distant train rumbled by outside, punctuating the moment. Jenna took a breath, steadying herself, searching for signs of acceptance in her children's faces. Their innocence felt like a fragile glass orb, and she feared the next revelation would shatter it. "What do you mean, making sure we stay safe?" Lily asked, tilting her head with curiosity that shifted into cautious fear. "We're planning to speak directly with Grandpa," Ethan replied, his voice firm. "We need to understand the truth so we can decide the right thing to do." "Will he be mad?" Lucas asked, his voice small. "I don't know," Ethan admitted, eyes glistening. "But sometimes doing the right thing it can be tough." In that moment, Jenna saw the flicker of understanding pass through them. It wasn't just about secrets or fear, it was about family, about standing together through the storm. A quiet resolve filled the room as they wrapped their arms around their children, pulling them close. But the air felt charged, like electricity before a thunderstorm, and Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that the storm was just beginning. How would their grandfather react? What secrets were buried beneath years of family loyalty? As they embraced, Jenna caught a glimpse of the door, her heart pounding again at the thought of facing what lay beyond it. Was confronting Ethan's father the right action to take? With these thoughts swirling in her mind, she clung tighter to her family, wishing she could shield them from the chaos to come. The personal stakes ran higher, and she knew they could either be furled closer together in strength or ripped apart by truths they might not be ready to face. What awaited them in that confrontation? Would Ethan find the courage to uncover everything, or would silence echo louder than the truth? Jenna's heartbeat thundered in her chest as she steadied her breath. The door loomed before her like a gateway to an uncertain future, a stark reminder of the truths they would have to face. "Mommy?" Lily's voice was soft, a feather against the weight pressing down on Jenna's shoulders. She knelt to meet her daughter's gaze, brushing aside strands of Lily's hair. "Yeah, sweetie? Are we going to be okay?" A lump formed in Jenna's throat. She had to believe they would, but how to convey that assurance when doubt gnawed at her from the inside? "We're going to do our best, and we're in this together, always." Ethan rested his hand on her back, a solid anchor amidst the swirling storm. The children squeezed him tighter, sensing the storm of emotions brewing in their parents. Life felt heavy in that moment, and Jenna knew their next move would shape not just their family but the generations to come. "Okay," Lucas said, trying to sound brave. "Can I help pick some snacks for later?" "Of course," Jenna replied, grateful for his attempt to lighten the mood. "Let us make things cozy for when we get back." As the kids hurried off to the kitchen, laughter bubbling again over the mundane task, Jenna felt a flicker of hope. But even as she watched them, the dark thoughts crept back, thoughts of their grandfather and the debts shadowing their family. How many other secrets lurked just beneath the surface? Ethan squeezed Jenna's hand. "Are you ready?" The question hung in the air between them. Although they had agreed on this path, the weight of the unknown pressed heavily. She glanced at the door again, envisioning what lay beyond it. Each scenario played out in her mind: her father-in-law's stoic face, the sharpness of his voice, the accusations that could fly. "Not really," she admitted. "But we can't avoid it anymore, can we?" "No," Ethan replied softly. "It's time." They walked toward the door together, their footsteps echoing in the stillness of the house. As Jenna opened the door, the cold air rushed against her cheeks, jolting her senses. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the porch. With a frantic patter, the kids rushed back, arms laden with bags of chips and cookies. "Mom, Dad. We brought snacks," Lucas exclaimed proudly, his innocence wrapping around them like a warm blanket. "Good thinking, buddy," Ethan said, forcing a smile. But Jenna could see the tension lurking beneath the surface. "Let us go talk to Grandpa," Jenna said, her voice trembling slightly as she took a step forward. "But remember, we're together in this, no matter what happens." As they walked down the path towards the car, Jenna's mind swirled with what-ifs. Would he dismiss them? Would he deny everything? Could they even trust him to be honest? Mom, what if Grandpa gets mad at us? Lily's voice was small, reflecting Jenna's own fears. He might, Jenna said truthfully, but we have to stand up for ourselves and each other. Families are meant to be strong, right? Right. Lucas echoed, his enthusiasm blooming like the last rays of sun before twilight. Settling into the car, Ethan turned the ignition. The engine roared to life, but the sound felt muted against the thrumming of Jenna's heart. Jenna stole a glance at Ethan. Promise me we'll stick together? No matter what he says? Ethan nodded resolutely. With everything I am. As they pulled away from their home, the kids chattered in the back seat, blissfully unaware of the impending confrontation. But Jenna couldn't shake the sense of impending chaos. What would happen when they confronted Ethan's father? Would they emerge stronger, or would the family fractures deepen? The paths ahead felt unclear, and Jenna's heart raced with trepidation as they approached their destination, the car's headlights illuminating a future riddled with uncertainty. The car ride felt endless, the distance to Ethan's father's house stretching infinitely as they navigated familiar streets that now felt foreign. The kids' laughter in the back seat was like a fragile thread, connecting Jenna to a reality she wanted to cling to. But with each passing moment, anxiety crept in like a thick fog. How long could they pretend everything was okay? Mom! Lucas called out, pulling her from her spiraling thoughts. Can we listen to that song we love? Sure, buddy. Just a second, Jenna replied, reaching for the radio. She turned it on, letting it fill the car with sound, though she barely registered the tunes. Ethan stole another glance at her, worry etched in the creases of his forehead. You okay? Yeah, just thinking. She forced a smile that felt more like a mask. About Grandpa? Lily asked, her voice small and trembling. Just about how to be strong for all of us, Jenna said. The words hung heavy in the air, but she felt the kids needed reassurance. They all had to be brave, despite the knots twisting in her stomach. As they approached the huge, old house that had filled her with warmth countless times, today it felt ominous, looming over them like a thundercloud. Ethan parked, but neither of them moved. The kids' chatter faded into quiet once again, aware of the gravity of the moment. I wish we could just turn back, Lucas whispered, voice barely audible. So do I, Jenna admitted, each word dripping with honesty. But they couldn't hide. That was the whole point. We have to face what's waiting for us. Finally, Ethan took a deep breath and stepped out of the car. Jenna followed, a chill running down her spine as she faced the imposing front door. It represented everything: the past, the secrets, the fear. Lily, Lucas, stay close, Jenna instructed as they walked towards the door, the kids clinging to their parents' sides like shadows. Ethan knocked firmly. The sound echoed through the stillness, each rap against the wood a reminder of all they had endured, all they would now confront. The door swung open, revealing Ethan's father, a hulking figure wrapped in a robe that seemed to swallow him whole. His eyes were sharp, raking over the family before settling on Ethan. Disappointment radiated from him like an invisible wave. You're back. Dad, we need to talk, Ethan said, his voice steady but tinged with tension. About what? His father crossed his arms, a wall of defiance. Jenna felt her heart race again. This was it. Sir, we know about the debts. And about the situation with the business. We want to understand. Ethan's father lifted an eyebrow, contempt lining his features. You think you're qualified to talk about business? You think this is just about debts? Dad, we're here to work together as a family, Ethan replied, his voice firm now. Jenna took a step forward, her hand trembling slightly. Grandpa, we care about you and about our future. These shadows hanging over us, they don't just affect you. Stop, he barked, his face contorting with anger. Jenna swallowed hard, fighting the urge to retreat. The kids clung to Ethan's side, their small faces reflecting a mixture of fear and determination. Please just listen to us, she pleaded, desperation creeping in. Whatever's been kept in the dark, we want to bring it into the light. The silence that followed felt suffocating, a standoff in a battle neither side had truly signed up for. Ethan's father stood rigid, and Jenna sensed a storm brewing behind his cold exterior, but there was something more. Was it vulnerability? Doubt? Why would I do that? He snapped. Before Jenna could respond, Ethan stepped in, his voice quieter but more intense. Because family matters. No matter how deep the cuts are, we can heal if we talk. The air shifted in response, the tension crackling like electricity. Jenna held her breath, hoping Ethan's words would soften the old man's heart. She could see cracks, tiny but there, in the facade built over decades. And then it hit her, the possibility of a choice. The moment rippled with potential. Their willingness to step into the fray might be the spark that ignited a change. But as the seconds stretched on, the reality of their situation loomed. Would they find strength in conversation, or would it all come crashing down? You want to know the truth? Ethan's father growled, leaning closer, his dark eyes narrowing. In that instant, Jenna felt a rush of fear and resolve. She had a choice to make. Would she be the one to uncover the truth, or would they all be swallowed by the secrets? The answer hung in the air, heavy and electric, as the door between them cracked open just a little wider. Ethan's father's gaze bore into Jenna, the air thick with an unspoken challenge. She could feel the weight of his skepticism resting squarely on her shoulders. The silence stretched, hanging like a pendulum, swinging between fear and hope. Yeah, Ethan's father muttered, stepping back just enough to let his family inside. You want to know the truth? Fine. But don't say I didn't warn you. Jenna's heart raced as they entered the dimly lit hallway. The once familiar scent of wood polish mingled with something darker, something stale. As they passed through the threshold, she could see countless family photos lining the walls, captured moments of smiles frozen in time. But there was a tension, a palpable distance in each image that made her frown. They reached the living room, an expansive space that felt just as empty as the weight on her chest. A once vibrant room was now shrouded in shadows, much like the secrets that lay scattered around them. Jenna squeezed Ethan's hand, hoping to ground herself in this reality she was unraveling. Your mother's been trying to keep this place afloat, Ethan's father began, his voice low and threatening with undertones of bitterness. But the truth is, your mother's ill, and the debts are piling up. I don't have the strength to fix it. What do you mean, ill? Ethan asked, confusion and anger flashing in his eyes. His father sighed, raking a hand through his thinning hair. It's not just the business. She is sick. I thought I could protect you from it, but this mess is spilling over, and now you've dragged your family into it. Is it so hard to let us in? Jenna's voice came out firmer than she intended. We're here because we care. You don't have to carry this all on your own. His piercing gaze softened, just for a moment. Then he turned away, mask of rigidity slipping back into place. You think it's that simple? I made my choices. Choices I have to live with. You have no idea what that costs. Jenna's doubts began to surface. Had she overstepped? Yet, deep down, she felt an unfamiliar fire igniting within her. And maybe you don't realize that doing this alone means hurting the ones you love, too. We can help you. Together. Ethan's father turned abruptly, almost as if the conversation had taken him by surprise. Together? You think family means holding on to this lie? He laughed bitterly, eyes narrowing. All it does is bury you deeper. No one gets saved. You're either caught up in the pain or left behind as collateral damage. The weight of his words landed hard in the pit of her stomach. She remembered the years of burden, the feelings of inadequacy that plagued her. This family had always been a tangled knot of emotion, and now they were trying to untwist it in one conversation. Maybe the truth hurts, but hiding it only makes it worse, Jenna said quietly, stepping closer. We can navigate this storm together, but you have to trust us. The moment seemed to stretch, eyes locked, breaths held. Ethan's father seemed to shift, his expression revealing cracks of vulnerability. Just when it appeared they might be making progress, the tension swung again. Trust? He spat. Trust can be a deadly game. You think because you have some struggles you know pain? This, he gestured around him, this is nothing compared to the world of business. You want honesty? You want tea like it? Then let us decide what hurts, Ethan replied, stepping forward, voice rising. The confrontation slipped into an uneasy silence once more. Jenna felt a tremor of uncertainty, not just about Ethan's father, but about the path they were all about to take. What's lived in the shadows can't be hidden forever, she pressed, her voice earnest. We deserve to know the truth, but only if you choose to show us. As her heart thundered in her chest, she recognized that this was the pivotal moment, the crossroads where secrets could either stand unchallenged or be courageously confronted. Ethan's father took a step back, visibly shaken, as if Jenna's words had pierced through his defenses. I'll tell you the truth, he said slowly, almost reluctant. But can you handle it? Jenna's mind raced. She had prepared for many things, but was she truly ready for what was coming? Whatever it is, we can face it together, no matter how painful, Ethan reassured, wrapping an arm around Jenna. But as the room filled with an uncertain energy, Jenna could feel the sobering realization that not all truths set you free. So be it, Ethan's father grumbled, a grimace forming as he began to speak. With those words, a new level of tension filled the room, one brimming with secrets that had the power to shatter or rebuild. Jenna felt a chill crawl up her spine, an unmistakable premonition what lay beyond the horizon may change everything. What would emerge from the revelations? Would they be able to take it, or would the chaos unravel the fragile bonds they dared to forge? As the words hung in the air, she knew they were about to confront a truth that could either bind them closer or tear them apart forever. Ethan's father's expression twisted with frustration, and Jenna felt time slow as silence churned in the air around them. The truth lingered like a coiled snake, ready to strike. She felt a chill run down her spine and tightened her grip on Ethan's hand. Listen closely, he began, his voice low and rough around the edges. Long before you two came into the picture, our family business faced challenges. We were thriving once, but bad ones set us on this path. He glanced away, as if the weight of his own words bore down on him. What kind of decisions? Ethan pressed, trying to edge into the conversation, his voice steadier than Jenna's heart racing inside her chest. Investments. Relationships with the wrong people. Promising deals that crumbled once the ink dried. It spiraled out of control, his father said, pain lacing through his tone. And while I was busy trying to salvage the company, I neglected your mother. I thought if I could just make it work. You thought what, Dad? Ethan's voice broke slightly, emotion creeping up on him. That burying yourself in work would fix everything? You left her to fend for herself. Ethan's father's gaze hardened, but the shadows in his eyes revealed the truth he couldn't hide. It wasn't just about the work. I thought I could protect you both. But the business debts are only the tip of the iceberg. Your mother, he hesitated, the word hovering in the room like a frail whisper, she's in deeper trouble than you know. What do you mean? Jenna asked, her voice almost a whisper. Her illness, it's not just physical. It's emotional too. The weight of this family and the secrets it's eating her alive, he finally admitted, his voice cracking under the strain. It's like watching someone drown, and I can't swim. A wave of realization pulsed through the room. Jenna remembered how Ethan had worriedly checked his phone for updates all week, how he'd kept glancing at their old family photo, as if searching for answers in a moment frozen in time. Why didn't you tell us? She managed. Because I didn't know how, he replied, the anguish evident in his tone. I thought keeping you apart would save you from the storm. The air felt thick now, every breath labored with unspoken words. Jenna's heart thudded as she caught a glimpse of Ethan's pain mirrored in his father's eyes. You can't shield us forever, she said gently. We can take it. We want to be here, to help you both. Ethan stepped closer to his father, determination carved into his features. We won't be sidelined by fear anymore. We're a family. Let us fight this together. The silence that followed was deafening. Ethan's father visibly softened, the barriers he'd erected slowly crumbling. But Jenna could sense the storm still brewing beneath the surface. There was a long way to go, and this was just the tip. Maybe you could help, Ethan's father finally said, the words so tentative they could barely escape. But it'll require more than just support. It'll involve choices and sacrifices that may change everything for us. I'm ready, Jenna declared. Whatever it takes. Ethan nodded in agreement, rebellion sparking in his voice. Our family matters. We can't hide anymore, and we won't let fear dictate our lives. Just then, a soft cough came from the hallway. The fragile sound pierced the tension, dragging all eyes to the entrance, where Ethan's mother stood pale but visibly present, her eyes glistening with love and fear. Did I hear you talking about choices? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper, tears threatening to spill. In that moment, the enormity of what was about to unfold bore down on them. This was the moment they had to rekindle hope and set the stage for healing or plunge deeper into despair. As Jenna's heart raced with an unsettling combination of dread and determination, she realized that the choices they would have to make could change everything. What secrets lay ahead, waiting to be uncovered? And could the family bond withstand the weight of those truths? With those questions lingering, Jenna stepped forward, ready to face the chaos to come. Would they find themselves stronger together, or would this journey break them apart? Her heart thudded loudly in her chest as she prepared to confront whatever storm lay ahead. The tension hung in the air, a charged silence that enveloped them all, heavy and thick with uncertainty. Ethan's mother stood at the threshold, her frail figure trembling slightly, yet the determination in her eyes sparked a flicker of strength. In that moment, Jenna felt the walls of their world closing in, clinging to them like a lifeline. Mom, you're here, Ethan whispered, his voice a mix of disbelief and hope. Slowly, she stepped forward, heart in her throat, as if each breath she took could shatter the fragile moment. I want to hear everything. Her voice was shaky, but it carried a weight that left no room for doubt. Ethan's father shifted uncomfortably, but the atmosphere had changed. The icy tension began to thaw as vulnerability gripped the room like a warm embrace. I never meant to keep you in the dark, he admitted, a faint tremor betraying any thought of control. But I thought it was better for you to stay away from the chaos. I thought I could save you. By hiding? Ethan shot back, the fire in his eyes burning away the last vestiges of anger. You thought that protecting us from the truth would keep us safe? We need that truth to help you now. Jenna stepped closer, her voice calm but insistent. It doesn't just affect you. We're all tangled in this. We want to carry this weight together. We're a family. Ethan's mother swallowed hard, pain etched across her face. If I'm sick and all of this has been an illusion, then where do we start? The tears shimmered in her eyes, revealing the long-buried fear and hardship. How do we pick up the pieces? We begin by being honest with ourselves, Jenna replied, her heart swelling with a fierce resolve. We can't shy away from the mess. It's time to confront everything together. With that, the door creaked open just a bit wider. Their family landscape no longer looked like a palace of secrets but rather a patchwork of love, unity, and mutual respect. Ethan wrapped his arms around his mother, and she leaned into him, allowing herself to be vulnerable, trusting in the strength they would build together. Ethan's father watched the scene unfold, and Jenna saw the dawning realization in his eyes. The grip of regret was palpable, but now there was something softer, something closer to redemption. I need to make calls. Find a way forward, he finally said, hesitating before continuing. And I need your help. I'm willing to seek the right allies, but we'll have to face the music together, Ethan said firmly, locking eyes with his father. No more isolation. It's time to stand united. I can tell you the truth about what I was involved in, his father added. We'll start with the debts, the contracts, everything. And I'll apologize to your mother. I should have never turned away from you both. As his father spoke, Ethan turned toward Jenna, his fierce determination threading through the air like a flame. You were right, Jenna. There's strength in facing what we fear. We can open the doors to healing, but only if we choose to believe in ourselves. We deserve that chance. Tears welled in Jenna's eyes as she felt the warmth of his words wrap around her heart, filling her with hope. Yes, we do. Let us gather the people we love, share the truth, and fight for our family. The children drifted closer, sensing the shifting atmosphere, and Jenna smiled as her heart overflowed with love. And we'll make sure that no matter what happens, we'll stay united as a family, right? She whispered, wishing to instill that promise within the core of their children. Lucas and Lily nodded, pressing their small palms against their parents' sides. Together, they echoed, enthusiasm bubbling from their youthful spirits. With those powerful declarations reverberating around them, Jenna could feel the darkness lift a little more, giving way to light. It would take time to heal, to regain the threads of their family's fabric, but now there was a pathway toward reunion, a chance to embrace their collective truths and reclaim their legacy. Ethan's father let out a shaky breath. So, where do we begin? As Jenna looked around at the faces she cherished, the fragile balance between exhaustion and hope, the answer lay clear. By reaching out, starting with the people we've hurt. We confront the truth together, and we fight for one another. With that, a palpable sense of unity formed between them, binding them together like old roots branching out across the earth. Renewed faith coursed through them, ready to take on whatever lay ahead. The air felt different, clearer yet filled with possibility. As shadows faded into the warmth of the moment, they took their first steps down an uncharted road. It wouldn't be easy. Pain and healing rarely were. But Jenna knew this was just the beginning of something beautiful. Something worth fighting for. And as they began to reclaim their truths hand in hand, heart to heart, Jenna felt an unshakable bond grow stronger within her, sufficient to stand the test of time. Jenna took a deep breath, a radiant smile spreading across her face as she whispered softly, "Together, we are unstoppable." Now it's your turn to take action. Subscribe immediately to our channel so you never miss these exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your voice matters. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to spread the message. This is the moment.